Welcome! This is our digital edition of the Kern River, an inside look, where we're going to kind of take you behind the scenes of our processes and talk about our week-long digital series on the Kern River.
So this is Chloe. You didn't introduce yourself.
I'm sorry, my name's Chloe. This is Jada.
And Jada. Hi, we're here. If you guys have been kind of staying tuned to our digital series this week, we kind of wanted to put it all together and also explain our process, because we did this story a little bit differently than we usually do our news stories. We spent an entire day up in Kernville following around our good friend Gary Ananian now, and he kind of took us from place to place, introducing us to all of these different people and all of these different characters that we spoke to that day. So it was kind of an interesting experience. We were up there for like a long time and just trying to film everything, talk to everyone, and then see where the stories took us. We didn't go in with too much of a plan, a little bit of a plan.
It was a day-long adventure, basically. So we kind of had some interviews set up. We went with our, again, friend Gary now. He's now our friend.
Now he's our friend. Hey, Gary.
And basically what we did is we kind of just really embedded ourselves in the community there, really figuring out like how people there feel about the river, how campers feel about the river, and just what they think of it, because a lot of the news on the river, all we have time for really is covering the breaking news that happens, so the drownings, the rescues, and which we did touch on a little bit, but we went more in depth for you because we wanted to tell you this story fully and not just what you normally would see on the news.
Yeah, that's what kind of inspired this whole series. We know a lot of people who are from the Kernville community, or even the tourist companies up there, have their story to tell as well. And like Chloe was saying, we only really focus on the negatives, and we wanted to focus on everything, the good, the bad, the personal. So that's kind of what we were able to do with this. Since a digital series, we can be a little bit more longer and a little personal and talk to families. Well, we're going to play one of those episodes for you now. So in our digital little Facebook Live today, we're going to show you 3 episodes that we did this week and kind of talk about the process of them after they air. And make sure to leave your comments below in the Facebook Live for us. We have our computers up here and our phones, so we can answer any questions you guys have about our process, who we talked to, what we did, anything along those lines.
Yeah, we've become kind of experts on the Kern River after this story. So if you have any questions about it, we'll try to the best of our ability to answer those questions. And with that, take a look at this story of a family of campers that spent 9 days out there.
Cooking outdoors, seeing the kids play in the water, and loving life.
Thomas and Rose are spending 9 days here, just 15 minutes up the road from Kernville.
It restores your soul.
And they've been doing this trip together for 30 years. Meeting friends and family out here, next to the Kern River.
She's my Kern sister. We've been friends forever.
Playing.
This is where everyone hangs out. The kids do crafts.
Laughing. Spending time with one another, enjoying the outdoors.
This is my daughter who I raised in this river. I'm gonna just scampi this with some onions, some garlic.
Scampi it right up.
But the river isn't full of just good memories for them.
It was unfortunate.
Only 2 years ago, they lost someone very important to them, to these waters.
I really can't say what happened because I didn't see it. But what I understand is that he was just supposed to go down a little bit.
A friend had gone down on a tube with some strangers and never returned.
And the reason I come back is because this is where he died. And this is, sorry, I love this place.
Still in love with the river that took their friend's life.
You have to respect it, but it's also one of the most beautiful things in the world.
Respect. A word used often to explain the river by those who visit it often. This year, the Kern River has taken 11 lives, but that fact didn't scare this family away.
We have somebody here that called and said, "Are you sure we should go? I heard there were drownings and I'm scared." And I said, "No, you shouldn't be afraid. You should come and just respect the river." And it's the choices that people make that make the river dangerous.
Lessons they now teach their children.
I like the river because you can have fun, and if you actually play in it like safe, you can have fun without getting hurt or like drowning.
Our children have been disciplined on this river. They know what points not to go beyond.
And each year they come back, all to enjoy nature and each other's company.
It's So beautiful. It's just captivating. I can sit there for hours and just stare at it. My family. It just brings us so close. We have no stress here.
Well, welcome back to our digital edition of the Kern River and Inside Look, where we've taken a week-long look at the Kern River and looking at different aspects of it. The package you just watched was about a family that was camping in that area. Yes. This is part of the family, all these kids back here. And some of you asked questions. One of the questions was, how much do you pay to camp? Well, this family actually did not pay where they were staying, but some areas do require that you pay. I'm not sure what those fees are. I'm sure you could probably look up on Sequoia National Forest website.
Yeah, they just came up first come, first serve. They've been going to the same spot. We asked them this for 30 years, the same exact spot, and they just get lucky every year and try to get there early and secure it. And they usually stay for a week. But yeah, some places you do have to pay for. I just don't know.
Yeah, and they were a great family, very welcoming. And as you heard their story, despite their loss, they continue to come back to this river because of its beauty and how much they love it. So, yeah, and what was your experience with them?
Okay, the family was super great. Chloe went a little bit more in depth. She did the piece that you saw right there. So she went more in depth with what they really went through. I hung out with the kids. I hung out with the kids a lot. They were so cute. And we've been talking about these rescues and the dangers of the river, and the kids were so well versed. I even said to their parents, your kids are amazing. They were so well versed in the dangers of the river and where they could go, where they couldn't go. They told me they just stay up to their ankles. They don't go any further. And they're in a little pool pond area where there's no riptides, there's no currents at all. But they even know in that pool area not to go in because of how dangerous it is. So it was really cool to see that they've been going here for so long, even after a loss, and really teaching their kids. Some of them looked like they were 5 years old, and they knew that it was dangerous. And one of them, my favorite quote, was, "My dad's a worry wart," about me in the river. It was so cute. Do you have any questions before we go on to our next one?
Yes, we had a question from Nancy asking, where exactly is this? This is a campsite approximately, I would say 10 minutes up the road from Kernville. So if you take that road up, this campsite was to the left. So it's just kind of this little cove off the side of the road.
And there's a bunch of them along there too. This one was the only one we went to because this is the family we were talking to, but there's a bunch of them and they all probably look a little bit different. This was a little safe area.
And Brant says you have to pay to camp down towards the Hart Park area. So if you're camping down there, you might have to pay. So again, we're going to show you another one of our pieces. I'm going to let Jada introduce that one.
Yeah. So another thing that we've been talking about is the high waters of the river and how it's kind of dangerous to go in, to swim, to tube. So I wanted to take a look at how tourism in the area was affected by that. I talked to a fly fishing guy who runs tours and actually had to change the way he does fly fishing in the area. And we talked to a rafting company as well about how they had to change, how they ran their trips, and talking about the safety and how you can still do some things in the river, but not all things. We'll take a look at that now.
Well, this river is the lifeblood of this little town.
The Kern River brings life to the Kernville community. Locals and tourists alike flock to the shorelines for relaxation and adventure.
I pitch myself every day like this is what I do for a living, you know. I get to take people fishing and show them this beautiful place, which is unbelievable. If you like the outdoors, it's unreal.
It's a beautiful playground. It is a place where folks can come up and have an adventure unlike would have the opportunity to have just about anywhere else.
But this year, the river looks a bit different.
And the water flow was up past the sidewalk here.
So to where we're standing.
Even beyond, yeah. Yeah, but that was because of a big storm, a winter storm, and all the rain and snow that we've been getting. Certainly not a raftable level, but it's beautiful now though.
With the record rainfall, the Kern rose to new heights not seen in years, leaving dangerous waters and tragic deaths. Various tourist companies were forced to change their routines to match the changing river. Kern River Fly Shop was one of them.
Right on, man. See you later.
Owner Guy Jeans actually does not recommend fishing in the river at this time.
So I've been doing other things. I've been going to the small creeks that are feeding the river. I've been fishing the lake. I haven't been on the main stem of the upper Kern here since December. I haven't guided on it. You know, it's very swift right now, but you can fish it if you stay on the shore. You know, just be very careful.
The swift water is something rafting companies have been waiting years for. But safety is always a priority.
Most importantly, we know where to put people, and we're not going to put folks in stretches of the river at water levels that would be more dangerous than we'd see ordinarily on a regular water year. Raise the minimum age when the water's really high, and just make sure first and foremost that we're taking good care of folks.
The concern for safety is at an all-time high. More water actually brings more tourists to Kernville, with hotels and campsites selling out for the summer. I asked local conservationist Gary Ananian how he feels visitors should handle this new river.
This year it's different. You can't just get in the water and walk and tube it. It's not going to happen. And people are forgetting that.
And Luther said,
respect the elements that you're dealing with.
Respect, a word heard a lot during my time in Kernville.
The thing that you want to do with this river is show it respect. A lot of people don't show it respect and get hurt.
And if you show it respect, you can still enjoy the beauty of the Kern River.
Oh my God, it feels so good.
Without unsafely swimming in it.
This is like the ultimate playground for any outdoor enthusiast. You can do just about anything.
The Kern River, still a beacon that brings those near and far to the small mountain community.
The river itself, man, is just beautiful.
Just totally beautiful. I mean, the river is a ideal place to be.
So thanks for watching our digital version of our series that we had this week, the Kern River, an Inside Look. For those of you just joining, we're kind of going through 3 of our episodes and explaining our process and explaining our videos and what we did and answering your questions. So make sure you leave your questions if you have any for us or any comments. During that video, Kathy said water level is way down right now going through Bakersfield. It was even down when we were up there 2 weeks ago in Kernville. I was speaking to a guy who was fishing on the shoreline, and he said it's exponentially gone down in the past week when we were up there, and that was 2 weeks ago. So it's probably going down even more as we speak. So the water levels, they said, were getting much lower, and was easier actually to go rafting and to do the things that they were a little nervous of doing. As we heard in the video, they had to change their tours. Fishing, they didn't fish in the river in a while. So slowly they're going to be starting to get back into the normal routine since the river is getting lower. And also another thing I wanted to touch on was that there are safer ways to use the river, like with the rafting company or fishing on a shoreline, but there are also things to do in the area that don't involve the river. So if you are afraid to get in, if you are heeding the warnings that we're giving you about swimming, you could go camping and stay on the shoreline. You can go hiking, you can go in the mountains and climb. There are things to do other than just getting in the river as well. And I know Chloe talked about a lot of safety with the rafting company that we talked to. We talked to the rafters who said they're well trained and well prepared to help people. But you also actually learned how to get fitted for it.
Yeah, so on my Facebook page, Chloe Nordquist 23 ABC, I did an entire Facebook Live where they showed me how to properly put on a personal flotation device as well as a helmet, which is how they prepare people for rafting. So they kind of took me through the process, and let me tell you, it was really tight. Like, I was standing there like this, walking around.
She said it felt like a corset.
It was like a corset, yeah. And like by 15 minutes in, I was kind of getting a little lightheaded. That's how tight it was, and it obviously gets a little looser in the water as well as it gets wet. So there are proper safety procedures for those of you that are concerned with the river, and the water level, as she said, has gone down. So it's a little bit safer than it was before. Still dangerous, and you still need to take the proper safety measures.
Not go swimming, not go tubing in something that you just bought at a recreational store. Things like that, like we heard in Chloe's video, you need to respect the river. You need to make sure you're not going out of the way and hurting yourself, because it is very dangerous. Stay on the shorelines. Don't get in unless you are with a rafting company, as you heard in the video. Just, even though the water levels are going out, stay out, stay out. Yeah. And I know you did search and rescue.
Yes, so I spoke to Search and Rescue, and they kind of talked about what they've been through this year, which is a lot. They received a record number of call-outs this year, 150 call-outs to date as of July 24th. The previous record was 120 call-outs, and that was in 2011, another year that the water levels were really high. So far this year, there's already been 11 Kern River deaths, and the record is 15 deaths, I believe, which was set in 1989. So we are looking at a very high-level year.
And didn't he tell you something about the rafting companies with the rescues?
Yeah. So I spoke with Sergeant Williams. He's part of KCSO, also part of the search and rescue team. And he was telling me that basically a lot of it is preparedness. Like, a lot of the reasons they go out and help people is their lack of preparedness. So they have not done any sort of rescues this year with the professional rafting companies. None of the deaths were with professional rafting companies. They were all with people who were not properly prepared for the river and did not properly respect the river that people have been telling us the whole time. Respect the river, respect the river. And that was a theme throughout our time there. So now we're going to show you a story we did with search and rescue and just how all of these call-outs affect these volunteers, which are all unpaid. All of these volunteers, unpaid volunteers. So
they leave their families, they leave their dinner tables
to go help. They leave their dinner tables, and they have full-time jobs on top of this. I talked to one guy who owned a Shell station, another one that was a paramedic, and in their free time, they save people's lives, basically.
It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it's insane. So watch this piece. As you watch it, you can ask questions, and if you have any other questions on the Kern River, we have kind of dived into this topic, so we will try the best to answer those questions that you have for us. Take a look.
Beautiful, but underneath the surface, dangerous.
I know what the power of this river is. You get in this water and it's really turbulent. You have a few stumbles in the rapid, you're completely disoriented. You have no idea where you're at, and then now you're drowning.
Drowning, something search and rescue members are far too familiar with this season.
Rescue after rescue, going from one place to another.
Keeping these unpaid volunteers from time with their families.
We immediately jump up, we go.
On top of having full-time jobs.
My full-time job is a paramedic, which I've been doing for 20. Our personal lives do suffer.
All part of the sacrifice to be a member of the search and rescue team.
Every day off, every hour I'm off from my normal job, I'm essentially doing some sort of SAR mission or SAR work.
Ready at any hour of the day to pick up the phone and head out to a call.
Just in the same way that a fireman would leave his firehouse, we leave our houses.
Brian Baskin has been part of the team for 17 years. Due to the rushing waters this season, search and rescue has had over 150 call-outs to date, setting a new record for the agency.
The last time we had water like this was in 2011. We spend every minute that we can looking for somebody who's missing.
150 call-outs. That's double the average number per year, which is 73. The previous record was set in 2011, another year the Kern River had especially high waters.
It's increased our call volume dramatically.
Officials said people's lack of preparation is almost always a factor in most call-outs. No one has drowned this year while rafting with any of the professional rafting companies.
Watching people in these type of distresses is very emotional. It is a high stress situation.
Mission after mission, taking a toll on the minds of these volunteers.
You go into a mindset
to cope.
By putting it away.
The desire to succeed in the rescue provides the motivation to work the long hours.
When you hand somebody a child that you just rescued or just found who was missing, and you hand it to their mother, it's the best feeling in the world.
This feeling bringing volunteers like Tony Talbot back year after year, in his case for nearly 3 decades. Worth it, so they can help victims of the river. Gary, an advocate for the Kern River who once almost lost his life in the thing he now protects, knows the experience all too well.
I almost drowned myself.
His boat flipped on a whitewater rafting trip.
And it was like being stuck in a laundry machine, like you're tumbling. I'm alive for one reason, and that's because I was wearing a life jacket.
I can't explain the feeling. Is just as good as it gets.
The feeling of saving a life or helping a family find closure.
It's just been the best experience of my life. In all the other jobs that I've worked, it hasn't affected me in such a positive way as this team.
A team committed to helping others, despite the risks of the river.
Amazing work that these volunteers do. For those of you who are just joining us, we're doing a digital edition of our week-long series, The Kern River and Inside Look. So we're kind of talking about it and discussing different topics. If you have questions for us about the Kern River, go ahead and leave those in the comments below and we'll answer them as soon as we see them. I have my phone right here, so I'm monitoring your comments right now.
Yeah, so we're wrapping up a little bit, so if you have last-minute thoughts or questions, you can let us know. We had a great time doing this series. We're going to be doing more series in the future. We're going to try to do more week-long series of certain certain topics. So also in the comments below, if there's anything that you want to see us going a little bit more in depth than what we just do on a normal news basis, let us know. Chloe and I could take a news topic that we're doing and dig a little bit deeper and do different angles of stories. So let us know what you would like to see us do in the comments below, and we'll talk a little bit more about our river. So we have one more story that we're not going to show you now just to take a little more time. It's on my Facebook page. I actually talked with two conservationist groups who work every day, every morning, volunteering. They wake up to clean and protect the Kern River. I talked with Keepers of the Kern, Barbara. She said in the past 4 years when she started it, she picked up 10 tons of garbage, human waste, cleaning graffiti, doing everything, getting dumpsters, bathrooms in the area, because she said the Kern River was getting destroyed, and she kind of just took it upon herself to clean that river. So you can go check that story out. We also talked with our friend Gary, who runs Kern River Conservancy, which he also started on a volunteer basis 4 years ago. He works with the Forest Service to protect the Kern, to bring more warnings and notices to the people who are using the river. I know he said they're trying to raise money with a new event to get more volunteers out there to start warning people about the dangers of the river because of this season. So they are working on doing more programs like that to be more to warn more people about what can possibly happen. So we have that story there, and basically just talking about the beauty of the Kern, because it is such a beautiful area and people from around the country come to Kernville.
Yeah, across California, across the country, because this river is, again, so beautiful. So this has been all part of our Kern River and Inside Look series. We had a great time. We want to thank everybody that we did talk to while we were up there. We want to thank the community as a whole for kind of letting us in and showing us your community and your river. So yeah, any last minute questions you might have, let us know.
I don't think
we will kind of respond to them. We're going to end this live stream, but we can respond to them as in the comments.
Yeah. Let me check one more time before we sign off. I don't think anyone has said anything. So yeah, leave us comments below again about things we can do for another series coming up. And thanks for watching today. Thanks for watching our videos all week.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you.